What's up, YouTube family, and welcome back to the Centipede Grass channel. It's your boy CJ, and it's finally time and warm enough consistently to do our spring aeration. So today I'm going to be aerating, overseeding, and I'm going to be putting on a soil amendment that I truly believe in, and hopefully it's something that you'll be willing to try too. Hey, real quick, if you haven't subscribed to this channel and you're into DIY lawn care, definitely consider trying to bring you all the information that you need to kind of do your lawn care on your own, especially if you're into organic lawn care. Products, timing, watering, cutting, the whole 9 yards. So definitely, if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, consider doing that for me. So if you remember last year, I showed you this stretch of my backyard with these roots from the pine trees. And this area is just really compacted. In that video, we did a screwdriver test, put the screwdriver in the ground, and it barely got in the ground a few inches, just showing how compacted this area is. And as you can see, it's basically killed the grass. You can kind of see, where the grass is good, and then as you go over, it just dies back here under these trees. So this area needs to be aerated, and that's the main thing we'll be doing today. So here's the aerator we're going to be using. This is a rental. Renting it from Sunbelt Rentals. Not sure if you have one of those in your area, but this is a walk behind 27-inch, and the whole idea, this is an area that's already been aerated. The whole idea of what we're going to be doing today is pulling up these cores. All right, this right here is how you loosen compaction in the yard. As you go with the aerator, as you push the aerator, and I'll show you here in a second, these cores are going to pop up behind it. And this right here just takes some dirt out of the ground and allows the soil to spread out and expand, thereby loosening the compaction. Once you put these holes in the ground, these 2-3 inch cores, it's going to allow nutrients, that soil amendment that we're going to put down today, grass seed, which we're also going to put down, but also water and air to get down into the soil, and just create, healthier roots that are able to go deeper, loose soil for your soil microbes, and just all your nutrients to flow without being constricted from that compacted soil. Now, for some reason, there's always this debate on whether you should pick the cores up or leave them on the ground. In my personal opinion, that soil that's coming up from those cores has soil amendments and fertilizer and all type of things that I've put down over time that are still inside of those cores. So I leave them, me personally. Yeah, they're unsightly for a little while, but eventually they break down. And like I said, you return all of those nutrients that you previously paid for back to the soil. So I'm a proponent of leaving them on the soil. Of course, you can pick them up. I kind of understand the argument with, the argument for picking them up, and that eventually those are going to break down and go back into the soil, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to end up with a compaction issue again, especially if you're putting down grass seed and establishing new roots that are going to keep the soil loose. So, that's my opinion. So now that we're doing aerating, and a good aeration is going to go in both directions, vertical and horizontal. Just one pass should be enough, unless you have some really compacted soil. But one pass in each direction should be enough for most lawns. Now that we're done aerating, time to overseed. Of course, here I have the Tifblair that I've mentioned in previous videos. I got this bag. This is a 5-pound bag that does 20,000 square feet. I think it sells for like $220 on Amazon, but they do also have 1-pound bags that do 5,000 square feet, and those sell for around $50 on Amazon. So the Tifblair glass seed, like I said, I've mentioned it in the past. It's a good quality seed. Has a very good 85% germination rate, and the amount of seed that's actually in the bag, it's not a lot of filler like most of your lawn seeds are going to be that you get from your department stores like Lowe's, Home Depot, something like that, and you won't find this in either one of those stores. But a lot less filler, a lot more seed, and a very good germination rate. I will say one thing I don't like about the Tiff Blair that I just realized is that it's coated with a fungicide. I'm sure the reasoning behind that is probably the amount of water that you have to apply to grass seed to get them to root and to germinate. That fungicide is probably added as a just a precaution, just because water and humid times, you know, around the times that you're going to want to put down grass seed does cause fungus. But I believe in organic lawn care, and ideally I don't want a grass seed that's coated with a fungicide. So I'm probably going to get back on the market and start looking for an alternative. But as of today, like I said, I have the Tiff Blair. I'm going to go ahead and put it down. And if I find something new, I'll let you know. But for now, especially if you don't have a problem with putting down something that's coated with a synthetic chemical on your lawn, Tiff Blair grass seed is a quality seed. So along with aerating and overseeding today, I will be putting down worm castings. This thing has my garage all tight and not much space for this big crate. But I ordered this big crate from the Urban Worm Company. This was 1,000-pound crate that was full of worm castings, which is basically worm poop. But this is an excellent soil amendment that I've been adding to all my customers, and I'm going to put on my own lawn today, just to get your grass started, early in the spring, especially if you have centipede grass. Worm castings is a way to go, and we'll talk about that. So I consider worm castings to be a soil amendment. Some people do sell it and use it as a fertilizer, and it has a really low NPK, like 100 for the most part. But I believe that it's a soil amendment, and it's kind of akin to compost. There's some people have a debate on what's better out of worm castings and compost. And I'll tell you that I prefer the worm castings just because it's taking the compost and it's going to that extra step. The worm castings, like I said, is worm poop. So it's everything that's in the compost, but it's already been digested through the worm, So it's usually more plant available. It's already in the plant available form. Compost is going to have to be broken down by the soil microbes and basically go through that whole soil food web before it's available for the plants. Whereas the worm is it's a big dog in the soil food web. It's kind of like the end of the line before you get to, like, of course, birds and all, which don't live in the soil. So as far as the soil is concerned, the earthworm is one of the top predators. It's one of the top dogs in the soil. So once it goes through its process and it poops this out, that's usually the end line of the product that your plant can go ahead and uptake. And just a quick shout out for the Urban Worm Farm, Urban Worm Company. Why I chose their product is because they give you an analysis of their product. Let you know how much fungus is in the product, how much bacteria is in the product. Of course, beneficial fungus, beneficial bacteria, nematodes, all of the things that are essential for a healthy soil as far as soil microbiology is concerned. So I really like that, that it's being tested, that they have their test results posted, how much nitrogen is in the product, how much phosphorus and potassium in the product, all the things that, myself as a lawn care technician, all the things that I want to know to be confident that I'm putting a quality product on my customer soil. I had that big tote, but I just scoop it out, and this stuff does not go through a spreader well, so I've been throwing it out by hand. But I'm digging around trying to find a worm. Ah, found one. So yeah, I've been noticing a lot of worms inside of these things. And of course, you know, when I feel myself throw one out, I grab it and try to put it in one of the holes from the aerator, just so I'm sure it survives and doesn't dry out. But I try to get it out into the soil. But yeah, this thing is full of worms. I've had hundreds and hundreds of worms inside of that tote. And of course, I'm not intentionally trying to purchase the worms, but just the added benefit of putting down worm castings. You know, if you buy a quality product, I doubt that if I had bought that in a bag from a store, department store or something, that it would have live worms in it. Also, the live worms just make me feel like the product is super fresh, that they got it to me in a fast, timely manner. And that, you know, what's in it is what it says that it's in it, because it's still sustaining life, which is what I'm trying to do with my grass. So yeah, really like that live worm component that I see inside of the worm castings. The last thing is the watering. I know last week we talked about deep watering, but when you put down fresh grass seeds, when you put down fresh grass seed, you had to keep the seed moist. So we're going to probably do 5 to 10 minutes twice a day, depending on how much shade and how hot it gets. But just enough to keep the seed moist. And once that seed starts popping through the ground, once we start seeing it germinate, we'll pull the sprinklers back, you know, to deep watering. So if you've been following along with us, it's April. It's like April 14th or something like that. And one thing you'll notice is that we have yet to put down any fertilizer on the lawn. Everything has been soil amendments. Yeah, basically soil amendments, cutting and watering. And the idea behind that is that grass, especially centipede grass, which is known as the lazy man's grass, does not like to be pushed hard. It likes to naturally green up, naturally come out of winter. And in those big box stores, you're only going to see products that are trying to drive growth, right? Heavy nitrogen products that are built mainly just for top growth, mainly just to give you that pop and that look. But it's not addressing the health of the grass. So everything we've been putting down for the environment of the grass. Because like any form of life, if you give it the right environment, usually life can thrive on its own. From grass all the way to humans, right? Put in the right environment with the right conditions, life will usually thrive on its own. It usually has everything that needs to thrive on its own. So we've been indirectly affecting the life of our grass, adding these soil amendments and fixing the environment around the grass. Now, of course, these things eventually break down, and they are directly fed to the grass as the grass needs it. The grass will work with the soil to get all of the nutrients that it needs. But we're starting with the environment. We're building up the soil and believing that eventually that will transfer to the grass and we'll have a nice, healthy lawn this summer. I want to thank everybody for tuning into this video. I do want to say, whether you decide to overseed or put down worm casted soil amendments, any of that, that's one thing. But as far as aeration, if your soil is compacted, it is the one thing that will keep you from having a successful lawn no matter what you put on it. So definitely, if you have compaction issues, check that video where we do the screwdriver test and the whole 9 yards. But if you have a compaction issue, definitely get that fixed before you try to start doing any other soil amendments or any other things to affect your grass, because that'll be the number one things that holds you back. No matter how much you water, how much you cut, how much you feed, a soil compaction issue will always be the downfall of your soil. Besides that, again, thank everybody for tuning in. I appreciate the comments. I've had some great conversations, even through email. So if you have any direct questions, leave it in the comments. And if we need to go a little further, we can communicate through email and really push these lawns to be great this, well, not push, maybe pull these lawns, it's a better way to put it, to be great this year, you know, feeding our lawns through the soil, you know, investing more in a process than in a product, you know, putting a whole system around our lawn care, really taking it serious, you know. But, you know, not going to go too far. Definitely thank everybody for tuning in. Appreciate all the love. Like this video so it can get into the algorithm however it does and reach more people. And until then, well, until next time, peace.